All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Eka Kodesh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect wishing this word in truth and in sincerity. With hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13, verse 16 on down, which is the MOTB. The miracle drug is a precursor to the MOTB. Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as is written. So, I want to jump straight into this lesson, dealing with the times are at hand. Because, as you can see, by events transpiring upon the earth, they are according to prophecies given by Yahweh Shai and the prophets. And Yahweh Shai foretold of these things that are transpiring upon the earth right now. But a lot of people don't regard these things because, to their mind, these things have been always happening, but not on the level that it is taking place now. Almost every event now has been labeled as record breaking, from the floods to the earthquakes to the fires. People cannot comprehend these phenomena, but these are all judgment by Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai on the earth. As it is written in 2 Ezra 16, the plagues are sent and shall not return backwards. So this is Romans 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And one of the reasons why we know our salvation is nearer than when we believe is due to what? The prophecies coming to pass. The Lord said we're supposed to what? Measure the time diligently in itself. And how you measure the time diligently in itself is by what? Observing the prophecies. Observing the things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai foretold, which are come to pass in these last days. So I'm going to run a clip so you have an understanding of what I'm really speaking of, because shaky times are at hand. Time of great discomfort, great confusion, and that's one of the things that Esau got used to bug out a lot of people. So let's go.
Really saying, and the struggle that people are really having, real people are having, not the fake numbers that they give us about unemployment and things like that and the economy. I'm talking about real things that are happening. What people are not talking about is the fact that we are in the midst of this great reset. This reset is happening. And I don't care how much they want to hide it from you and show you other things to look at so that you don't pay attention to what is really happening until it hits your pocket. And it should be hitting everybody's pocket right now. Everybody is pinching pennies one way or the other. Maybe everybody's not going out buying the extravagant gifts like they used to, or maybe they are. If you got to have it, you got to have it, I guess. So whether it is stores from Bed Bath & Beyond, Tuesday Morning, Sears, Belts, Pizza Hut, Banks, Burger King, Walmart, Dollar General, the Christmas Tree Shop, Aldi, Lidl, and even Goodwill is taking a hit. Now, that's saying a lot when thrift stores are taking a hit. Feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you feel like they're trying to hide this stuff from you even though you're seeing it? but no one's really talking about it. You got to actually search for this in order to find out about it. So what's going on now is Belk's is closing a Columbia area store after 25 years. Now, mind you, they're closing because they're revamping that whole mall area. Now, this was going to happen one way or the other, but they thought that Belk's was eventually going to come back. So Belk's is closing its longtime department store in Richland Mall ahead of a more than 100 million complete overhaul of the mall property. And if anybody knows that area in Columbia, South Carolina on Forest Drive, Forest Acres area, that mall has been sleeping for a while now. So company spokesperson noted the Belk store has been at the mall at 3400 Forest Drive in Forest Acres for a quarter of a century. Belk's has been proud to serve the customers of Richland Mall since 1998, but they will no longer serve them. This Belk's will be open until early September, so that's just a matter of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Belk's will be closed at Richland Fashion Mall. So, which you can't say Fashion Mall because really I don't think there's any stores out there anymore. Even the TGIF store closed. I think they had a bookstore out there. I'm not sure if it's still there now, but all of those things are going away. So Richland Mall, Belk will have about 65% off with clearance items running 75% off. So if you're in that area, go on and get it. And this will start on Friday, August 11th. Now, there are still a couple of Belks in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina. So it's one at Columbiana Center and Village at Sand Hill, which I've shopped at both of them, and they are nice stores. Customers are also able to shop for their favorite products on Belk.com using the Belk app. And if you think about it, that's almost like Bed Bath & Beyond, where they've closed all of their stores, and you think, well, there's no more Bed Bath & Beyond. Actually, there are still some Bed Bath & Beyonds, but they're actually under Overstock.com. So Overstock.com has bought all of Bed Bath & Beyond's things, and they're selling them online. So if you love yourself some Bed Bath & Beyond, you just gotta have it. Not me, because it was just too high for me even before a sale. That's how you can get it, Overstock. So it also says here that the Barnes & Noble bookstore is still there, but it will be the last major tenant of the mall in its current form. The state has reached out to Barnes & Noble about its plans at the property, like are they coming back once they revamp the whole area. Richland Mall for years struggled to maintain national tenants, but now there is a new plan taking shape to breathe life into the site. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what they're going to do. It has pledged to overhaul the 32 acres. I didn't realize it was that big, 32-acre site with a more than $100 million plan that is set to include 100,000 square foot grocery store, more than 500 apartments, a public park, a brewery, and tap room, and more. So I'm excited to see what they bring to that area. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty of it all. What store that is closing 400 locations and is calling this a reset? So don't let them fool you in the news or whoever you're listening to. It is happening, and it's going down right now. All of these things that are closing down that I told you earlier in the video, everybody's either consolidating or they're saying it's underperforming, it's cost saving, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to put self-checkout in so we don't have to pay so much in labor. All of these things to save them money and take your money. Because let me tell you, inflation is eating it up. You're getting less items for more money. So the footwear chain, also known as Foot Locker, will be shutting down locations. But they also own Champ Sports, and that brand will take a hit first. So, Champ Sports will be shutting down 125 locations, closing this year. Then, by 2026, the 275 stores remaining that are Foot Lockers across the country will shut down. They're calling this...
This is Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And right now the evil day is approaching very speedily. You know, we're literally in evil times right now. As you can see, the chaotic things that are transpiring around the world is, mass shooting all over the world, wars breaking out all over the world, so-called natural disasters taking thousands of lives. But nobody regard these things. I'm going to verse 3. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the keepers of the house represent the economics, you know? Those are the watchers for this current system, you know? And the things that they are seeing is not promising to them. But this is how Shimon Shah is doing, you know? And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. Going into what? The topic that you just speak on. The closing of the stores, that's why people are going to what? Lose their jobs. The cost of living is already high, but now a lot of people is going to lose their jobs. She made mention of stores going to self-checkout. See, that means a lot of cashiers lose their work. A lot of people don't see the significance of these things, but a lot of people get paid. And they're going to take away people money right now by closing these stores. But a lot of people are going to do. So the things and times are get more serious as the times progresses. And if you're not watching, as it is written in 2 Ezra 6, these things that will come upon you at an instant. Because you're not paying attention to what's really transpiring upon the earth. You're just living in that bread and circus where Esau give you to distract you from what's really taking place. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, hopelessness, And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds. And right now the sound of the grinding is low all around the world. So just imagine the high cost of living that we're going through now, and you don't have a job in such an economy, where inflation is turning up. And it's going to get much worse. We're coming to the time when you go into these stores and you can't afford the things that are in these stores, which at one point you could have bought and it was no problem. So going back to this clip.
Shut down. They're calling this the reset, since their total sales forecast for the year is lower than last year. So in saying that all of these 400 locations are shutting down, this is a reset. So in a reset, that means that's not the end of a business. That's just a relaunch of the business. So they say they plan to relaunch their retail brands and introduce more experimental store concepts. I don't know what that means.
All right, let we break it down. That's the reason why we're here. You're here to bring out all these information on the stores closing, and what's going on. out there with all the closing of these banks. As you can see, it's a JA. Major banks closes all location. Where's my money? So she's good at bringing out these information, but you don't know what's really coming. When I say experiments, they're going into their technological advancement in society and what them are go implementing these revamp, as they would call it, of the stores, going into AI technology, self checking out, you know, whether I want to be palm reading, where I want to be taking the information off your phone, or whether I want to be the chip, because they're that bold right now. But who is prepared for what's to come? Only the Lord's elect. Only the Lord's elect. Because they're prepared in what? The spirit, knowing that all these things is going to come to naught. And that's the difference between the elect and people in the world. They have no hope. So this was just a quick video on something that I saw, and I want brothers to really tune into all these closures of these stores around the world. Because this is just not happening in America alone. This is something taking place around the world. We have what? 30,000 stores, farms are being closed in Netherlands. You know what important that was to the world economy at large? You have no clue, yo. India has put a halt on the export of rice. You know what that is going to do to the world at large? You have no clue what's to come here. But Yahweh Shemi Shai, as his elect, as himself servant shall eat, but he shall be hungry. And his servants shall drink, but he shall be thirsty. So this is the final that I want to say. Kalalal, Yahweh, Shemi Shai, Shemi Shalom.